Reeves Immigration Law Group now brings you Immigration Law on Your Side.
All right, welcome to another Immigration Law on Your Side right here po sa PHLV Radio, nanggagaling po sa Las Vegas, Nevada. Ating butihing attorney Flomy Diza, nanggagaling po sa San Francisco, California, sa opisina po ng Reeves Immigration Law Group. Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat. At sa mga nakikinig at nanonood sa atin sa app, maraming salamat po. And sa mga listeners and viewers natin sa mga on-demand platforms, welcome to the program. Simula pa noong March 2020 mga kababayan, the COVID-19 pandemic has dramatically affected the Department of State's ability to process immigrant visa applications. Sinisika po ng mga US embassies and consulates all over the world na maibalik ang routine visa services. Pero syempre, on a location-by-location basis as expeditiously and, mabilis at effectively possible in a safe manner, siyempre. However, the pandemic continues to severely impact the number of visas our embassies and consulates abroad are able to process, siyempre po naman. So with us tonight is Flomy Diza of Reeves Immigration Law Group para mapag-usapan natin ang visa backlog, pati na ang mga waiting time for visa interview and how to request an expedited interview at the embassy. So welcome na po natin si Attorney Diza, nanggagaling po sa San Francisco, California. Magandang gabi po sa iyo, Attorney.
Magandang gabi, Kuya Johan, at sa lahat ng mga viewers and listeners, magandang gabi po. At very timely and very important ang ating pag-uusapan ngayon dahil this is going to be a visa backlog and how to expedite an interview. And before we proceed, Kuya Johan, I'll take this opportunity to make an announcement habang nakikinig at nanonood pa ang ating mga listeners and viewers. And we're happy to announce that our law firm, Reeves Immigration Law Group, will be opening a new office at Concord, Walnut Creek area in California, effective starting first week of June of 2022. The new office will be located at 1756 Lecasi Avenue, Walnut Creek, and the telephone number is 925-310-5080. Reeves Immigration Law Group has been the practice for over 40 years, and we are passionate of what we do. And that's why it's really important with all the backlogs and follow-ups, we need another office, right? We also increase our staff in Makati, right? And now we're opening a new office in the Concord, Walnut Creek area, California. We believe, and we and also there would be new openings of immigration court offices, asylum offices, and immigration offices in the Walnut Creek, Concord area in 2023. So if you would like to learn more about our new office, we will soon update our website and make the necessary announcement. So nauna tayo dito sa PHLV Radio. Then pag-usapan natin ngayon backlogs and how to expedite cases, and it's really important that you, being our clients, would be fully represented kung saan man kayo. Right, Kuya Johan, so let's start.
Congratulations, Attorney, at sa lahat po ng Reeves Immigration Law Group. Nako, bagong serbisyo na naman ito sa ating mga kababayan sa ilang milyong Pilipino na nandyan sa California. Nako, congratulations po.
Maraming salamat, Kuya Johan. So itong backlog na ito, maraming mga nagtatanong sa atin, lalong-lalo na sa mga, preference category, kahit yung mga immediate relative petitions, Kuya Johan, or employment where supposedly the priority date is available. Di po ba yung EB3s, even the F2As, yung mga lawful permanent resident parents, petitioning spouse, and minor children, right, they are available. Ibig sabihin, visa is always available. So if they're here in the US, they're able to adjust status. Unfortunately, for people who are consular processing, right, aside from the waiting time ng kanilang visa petition, right, once that's approved in about 6 months to probably 2 years, depending on the visa category, it goes to the National Visa Center for processing, right? So doon po magbabayad ng immigrant visa ang aplikante at magbabayad din ng affidavit support, and they submit the civil documents, yung kanilang birth certificate, marriage certificate, NBI clearance, right, and submit also the affidavit support and the financial documents, kind of income tax returns. So yung process na yon, mga kababayan, sometimes it takes about probably a month to 6 months, depende sa bilis nyo mag-upload, magbayad at mag-upload ng documentation kung gaano po ka-available ang inyong documentation. So once those documents were uploaded, ino-notify po kayo ng National Visa Center, meaning that they accepted your documents and you are documentarily qualified for interview. So yung tinatawag DQ, documentary qualified na po kayo. So at that point, pre-pandemic mga kababayan, ang waiting time lang po ninyo is about around 3 months, matagal na yon, right? Makakuha na kayo ng interview appointment. But with this pandemic mga kababayan, maabot po ng mga 60 months or about probably 3 years.
Wow!
Right? Or more. After you are documentarily qualified. So nangyayari yan. So yun, doon po pumapasok yung backlog. So yun yung process. So yun, naghihintay po tayo ng appointment interviews from the time you are documentarily qualified. At marami mga impact nito, Kuya Johan, hindi lang sa nag-expire ang inyong documents, yung NBI po ninyo, sometimes yung immigrant visa fees, at the same time yung inyong information kailangan update na kasi either lumipat kayo ng tirahan, nag-abroad kayo, or may nangyari sa inyo.
Baka nag-asawa na or something.
Yes, by the time na kailangan mo nang i-update yun, ang dami na namang kailangan. So yun po yung backlog mga kababayan. And if you look at the report ng National Visa Center, hindi po magandang tignan. Ilan po ba ang mga cases na documentarily qualified na at nag-iintay na lang ng interview? So if you're going to look at the National Visa Center website, Kuya Johan, as of April 30th, isang buwan na, the number of immigrant visa applicants whose cases are documentarily qualified and complete at the NVC and ready for interview as we said, April 30th is already 449,583. So almost 500,000 ang naghihintay mga kababayan. And number of documentarily complete immigrant visas that were scheduled for May, right? 2022 kasi nakikita natin ilan ba ang scheduled nila. So only around 28,447.
Wow, so ganun ka konti lang talaga. Umuusad pero konting-konti, attorney?
Oo, Kuya Iwan. So yung 400,000 na yun, ilan lang nabawas, di ba? So doon napaka bagal, paghihintay po ninyo, right? So ito yung mga preference categories. So meron po tayo mga wait time. So doon natin tinitingnan ang wait time, kailan ba ako matawag ng interview. That's the most common question ng mga clients at saka mga nagtatanong sa amin kung kailan sila mapapatawag ng interview. And yung pag-usapan natin, Kuya Johan, is based on yung mga experience natin with our current cases, online resources, hindi kagaya po ng visa bulletin ng Department of State that they publish yung priority date every month. But for the embassies, wala silang processing time. So this is basically yung pag-usapan natin based on current cases and on other cases. But yung pinag-usapan nating numbers kanina kung ilan yung documentarily qualified at naghihintay ng visa, nasa website po yan ng National Visa Center. So yung pag-usapan natin, gaano pa katagal ako maghintay, attorney, di ba? Bago ako matawag ng interview. So depende po yan, as Kuya Johan mentioned kanina, kung saan po ang inyong embassy, the number one, at ano po ang classification ng inyong visa. So as we mentioned kanina, yung mga immediate relative dapat, 'di ba, pag nandito sa US, automatic adjustment, walang waiting time. Kahit naman nasa abroad po kayo, nasa Pilipinas for example, available kaagad ang visa at kaagad pina-process. Ang problema natin is documentarily qualified ka, kailan mo asahan yung interview mo. Yan ang pag-usapan natin. So yung immediate relative ko yun, yung asawa mo US citizen, right? Or may pinipetition kayong minor children at kayo US citizen at kayo po ay anak ng US citizen, so yung petition ng your parents. So ito yung mga immediate relative, yung IRs, IR1, IR2, IR5. Ito yung mga parents sa IR5. So ngayon, Kuya Johan, ang tinatawag nila ng interviews were those documentarily qualified as of February of 2021. Meaning, if you look at the date ngayon, today is May of 2022, so parang 1 year and 5 months, di ba? 1 year and 4 months. Ganun yung katagal ang waiting time. Now, yung mga K1 naman, yung mga fiance visa, ganun din, medyo matagal din. Ang pinaprocess mas mabilis pa ng konti. It's October of 2021. Yung mga employment-based cases, right? Documentary qualified as of July of 2020. So ang tagal din. So 2020 parang almost 2 years ang waiting time. Yung mga family preference, ito yung mga affected, mga kababayan, dahil as we mentioned, kung preference category po kayo where you wait for about 10 years to 20 years, depending mo sino yung nag-petition sa inyo, right? Kung kayo married or single or petition ng kapatid, nag-intend na kayo ng 10 years to 20 years, ang pinaprocess pa lang nila is 2019 ng October. So in other words, pre-pandemic pa to, na nakompleto ka na, hindi ka pa, natatawag ng interview. So these are, 2019, 2021, so almost 3 years, mga kababayan, ang waiting time ninyo bago kayo matawag ng interview. So this is the reality po, mga kababayan, ng ating backlog sa mga embassies worldwide. Right, most of my personal cases are from Manila, Philippines, and some in the Middle East and some in Europe as well. Pero if you look at the numbers, pare-pareho po ang kanilang pinaprocess.
So attorney, katulad ng nabanggit nyo kanina, if our kababayans back in the Philippines, may opisina naman tayo dyan sa Makati. Now, if along the way they will have to update some of their documents dahil nga tumatagal, matutulungan po ng Reeves Immigration Law Group po ang mga kababayan natin sa Pilipinas po, ano?
Yes, that's the good thing about having a law firm in Manila because it's very convenient. We ask our staff to call, email the embassy to coordinate with clients in updating the records. And most importantly, Kuya Johan, of course, yung preparation nila before they go to the interview.
Right.
So we make sure that their documents are complete and make sure that they know what to expect at the interview.
Siguro isa sa mga kailangan nilang i-update sa pagtumagal ng kanilang interview ay itong kanilang mga medical records o kanilang yung mga check-up ba, attorney?
Kuya Johan, yung medical examination will only be required if you already received the appointment notice, like the interview appointment. So, but that's also one of the causes ng delay. Yung let's say naghintay ka na ng about 2 years, 3 years after your cases are complete at the NVC or what we call documentarily qualified na po kayo. Then pinatawag ka ng medical, and then medical requires you to undergo sputum test, and that takes about 3 to 6 months or more depending sa reaction po ninyo sa gamot or yung cure. Now, the other problem there, of course, they require now yung COVID testing, right? So, for example, one of your family members has COVID, hindi ka rin matutuloy. So, ang problema pa dyan, let's say naka-schedule na kasi yung interview mo eh. So, before you schedule interview, preferably 2 weeks before that, dun ka nire-require, nire-recommend na medical. Ang problema kung hindi natapos yung medical mo dahil sa may medical condition or nire-require ka ng psychological evaluation or sputum test, then yung interview mo na schedule, makakancel yon automatically because one of the requirements is that you have to have a sealed medical report before the interview.
Okay. Attorney, isa sa mga itinatanong ng ating mga kababayan, by the way, mga kababayan, itong pinag-uusapan namin on top of the program right now, ito yung mga immigrant visa interviews. And mamaya pag-usapan din natin, mayroon din bang backlog yung mga non-immigrant visa applications. Mamaya po yan. Pero ngayon, attorney, itinatanong ng ating mga kababayan, kung merong pangyayari or circumstances that kailangan na ng beneficiary ng immigrant petition na makarating sa Amerika, kailangan na ma-expedite ang interview. Is there a way na ma-expedite po ang interview process?
May mga paraan para po mapabilis ang inyong interview. As we mentioned kanina, yung waiting time about 2 to 3 years once you're documentarily qualified for preference categories, and sometimes you need the beneficiary in the United States. As we mentioned, one of the impact or effect ng delays or backlogs, Kuya Johan, aside from nag-expire yung inyong payments, yung inyong civil documents, or nadidelay yung process, yung interview, may mga sitwasyon na nagkakasakit yung petitioner or kinakamatay ng petitioner. And as we all know, that once the petitioner pass away, the petition is no longer valid. So the petition is automatically revoked. Now, aside from that, that's one of the reasons for a request for expedited interview is it's for medical emergency. So for example, ang petitioner po ninyo ay nasa serious na medical condition, nagkaroon po siya ng operation, or kalalabas lang sa hospital at walang mag-aalaga o kung may mag-aalaga man, very limited. So pwede pong gamitin yan. So we just need to provide yung medical records po ng petitioner. Take note mga kababayan na ang medical emergency is not only for the petitioner but also for the beneficiary. So for example, yung beneficiary kailangan magkaroon ng kidney transplant right away, diba? Dahil sa kanyang medical condition, pwede rin gamitin yon na basihan para po mapabilis ang inyong interview. At nangyayari po yan. Usually yun ang unang tanong ng mga client sa akin, attorney, may magagawa ba ang law firm mo, right? Para mauna na ako sa interview. And I ask them, is there a basis? Kasi merong dapat basis, and one of them is medical reasons. If there is a serious medical condition of the petitioner or the beneficiary, then the answer is yes. Now, isang sitwasyon pa mga kababayan is if your petitioner is deployed or member of the US service, right? That kailangan ma-deploy overseas at kailangan pumunta dito, kailangan po i-provide ang inyong order po na order of deployment ng inyong petitioner. So yan yung pangalawang basis for requesting an expeditious request.
Meron pa attorney tinatanong sa atin dito, isisingit ko lang ito. Itong marami kasi mga kababayan natin na yung mag-age out na daw. Aabuti na sila ng magiging 21 na yung beneficiary. Is that ground for pwedeng mag-expedite yung interview?
Definitely a good ground, Kuya Johan. So for example, yung lolo, pinetition po yung mother po ninyo at kayo po ay derivative beneficiary. Derivative in the sense that in a preference category, you are below 21. Ang batas natin is pwedeng mag-immigrate ang mga minor children below 21 at the time of interview. Of course, may mga exception yan, yung tinatawag natin Child Status Protection Act at may calculation. If your age is determined to be under or below 21, under the CSPA calculation or nag-lock in yung age nyo, wala tayong problema dyan sa pag-age out. Merong other consideration din kasi dito mga kababayan where you have to seek to acquire yung visa mo within 1 year from the time the visa became available. So, you have to have an immigration attorney assess your case kung eligible pa ng Child Status Protection Act ang inyong anak o inyong pinipetition o yung derivative beneficiary before you can say that yes, nag-lock in yan so wala akong problema. Pero kung hindi po nag-lock in yung age ng anak po ninyo at kailangan ma-interview bago mag-21 at makarating sa Amerika bago mag-21, then that's the third reason for you to request to expedite the visa interview. So you have to provide, of course, yung birth certificate ng bata showing that the child is already aging out. So that's also a good reason for requesting an expedited interview. Now, take note mga kababayan, sa halimbawa, si lolo pinetition yung kanyang anak, at 5 ang mga grandchildren who are immigrating with the principal beneficiary at isa sa kanila o 2 sa kanila mag-age out. So pwedeng i-request the whole family, yung principal, yung kanyang asawa, yung kanyang lahat ng mga anak, pwede pong pagsamahin na lahat yun para isahan ng interview. So yun ang maganda doon sa pag-request ng expedited interview dahil masasama lahat ng mga principal and derivative beneficiaries.
Attorney, kasunod na itinatanong ng mga kababayan natin dahil nabanggit nyo kanina yung fiance visa, especially yung mga derivative applicants ito, siguro yung mga anak or yung iba pang mga beneficiaries na kailangan nilang i-beat yung deadline wherein they should be able to file their petition. Paano kung matagal pa yung kanilang interview attorney? Pwede ba sila? Will they be qualified to apply for an expedited interview?
Yes, that's also one of the reasons yung mga tinatawag natin K2 or fiance derivative children. they're about to age out, that's also one of the grounds for requesting an expedited interview. Now, yung K1 usually, Kuya Johan, may validity yan 3 months. So let's say na-approve ka na at sasabihin dun sa approval notice mo valid from January to April 2022, you have to apply for a visa within that time frame as well. Pero meron silang notification ngayon where they said that it's automatically extended. So wag kayong mabahala kung sakali mang nag-expire o expired pa ang inyong K1. Ang tignan po ninyo kung meron po kayong derivative child who's about to age out, then it's really important and necessary to get the interview before the child turns 21.
Ayan. Okay. So, tandaan mga kababayan, ito po ang mga paraan para makapag-request kayo ng expedited visa interview kung medyo natatagalan. At tulad ng nabanggit natin kanina, talaga namang napakatindi ng backlog. Halos kalahating milyon ang naghihintay na ma-interview ng iba't ibang mga embassies and konsulado all over the world. Attorney, isa sa mga itinatanong ng ating mga kababayan ay kung papaano ito i-apply ang iyong request for expedited interview. Paano po ba ang process nito?
Madali lang ito mga kababayan at kailangan bayad kayo sa fees. Basically, pag documentarily qualified na kayo, automatic bayad na. So, that's step number 1. Right? Kung hindi pa bayad dahil immediate relative po ang nag-petition sa'yo at may medical condition po yung petitioner, then of course pay the fees online. That's very easy. Then secondly, you have to schedule an appointment online as well, right? And I know that even if, and then there's a choice where the reason for expedited request. So kung hindi po available ang online sa website po ng embassy where you reside, then there is also like an email ng embassy where you can upload yung inyong request, right? And also the email address ng embassy nasa website po ng US Embassy Manila where you can send that request. So maghintay po kayo ng request. Of course, yung request nyo dapat kasama dyan yung proof or proof that you need to expedite, right? Anong basis ng request po ninyo, like as we mentioned kanina, yung medical certificate, yung military records, right? Or yung birth certificate ng bata who's about to age out. So yun po ang email nyo sa embassy, and then you have to wait for the embassy's response. Usually ang embassy would say yes, meaning either the embassy would schedule you an appointment already, meaning na-expedite yung request ninyo, and at that point, so go to the interview. So yun po ang basic step na gagawin po natin. And sometimes, mabilis naman silang mag-respond, siguro about 2 weeks to a month, sasagutin po kayo if you are eligible to expedite the case. And if that happens, then kailangan pong bilisan ang pag-set ng appointment ng inyong medical, and then go to that interview. Medical visa appointment, get that medical exam, and go to the interview.
All right. Mga kababayan, if you're just joining us tonight on Immigration Law on Your Side on PHLV Radio and on various platforms, pinag-uusapan po namin, attorney, ngayon ang visa backlog. And over the past few minutes, pinag-uusapan natin ang immigrant visa interviews. Attorney, we'll head over to a break. We'll remind our friends on how to contact Reeves Immigration Law Group. But when we come back, pag-usapan naman natin kayong mga kababayan natin and all over the world na gustong mag-apply ng non-immigrant visa. Yung pong mga visitor, gustong pumasyal sa inyong mga kamag-anak dito sa Amerika, o kaya pumasyal sa mga theme parks at magagandang mga tanawin dito sa Amerika. Gaano ba katagal ang paghihintay ng interview ngayon sa inyong mga embassy or consulates? Sasagutin po yan ni Attorney Diza sa pagbabalik po ng Immigration Law on Your Side. Diyan lamang po kayo.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has been representing immigrants for nearly 40 years. Reeves Immigration Law Group has been fighting for its clients through experience and expertise. With immigration lawyers you can access at reasonable fees, even on Saturday. Payment plans are also available. Call us for your immigration solutions. We can do worldwide telephone and Skype consultations. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009. Reeves Immigration Law Group has offices in Los Angeles, San Francisco, China, and Philippines. See us at www.rreeves.com. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009.
All right. right, and maidagdag natin attorney sa information na yan, ang magbubukas na bagong branch or office ng Reeves Immigration Law Group. Go ahead po attorney, remind natin sila.
Yes, we're opening a new office starting June. Ang location po natin ay sa Walnut Creek, California, 1756 Lacassie Avenue, Walnut Creek, California. So meron pa kami mga full staff at mga abogado and supporting staff din sa area na yan. As we mentioned, magbubukas po kasi ang immigration courts, immigration office, asylum office sa area po ng Walnut Creek, Concord area. This is on top of the other offices we have in the Pasadena, Los Angeles area, here in San Francisco, and in Makati office, and one in China.
All right. Okay, congratulations once again. And pag nag-ribbon cutting na yan, we will show you some pictures siguro dito sa program, ano po, attorney, para naman ma-excite yung ating mga tagapakinig and mga clients ng Reeves Immigration Law Group. Anyway, we're back to our discussion tonight sa ating Immigration Law on Your Side. Pinag-uusapan po natin ang visa backlog. Dahil nga po sa pandemic ay halos kalahating milyon ng ang mga naghihintay para sa kanilang mga interview. Over the past few minutes, the first portion of the show, pinag-usapan natin ang wait times ng immigrant visa. Pero marami sa ating mga kababayan ang nagpaplano na ngayon. As you know, you have to plan if you want to go to the United States. You have to make sure the timing is just right. Not only for your tickets, not only for your papasyal kayo sa Disneyland or wherever, but you have to make sure na eksakto rin sa timing ang inyong visa interview para eksakto ito. Attorney, para sa ating mga kababayan nag-a-apply ng non-immigrant visa, apektado rin po ba sila ng itong backlog na ito?
Yes, affected pa rin ang tourist visa at mga non-immigrant visa sa US Embassy in Manila, Kuya Johan. For the past few months, walang available na interview appointments for tourist visa. Right? For this month, fortunately, if you look at the Department of State website ng Pilipinas, under the Philippines, nag-open na ang visitor visa, fortunately. But mga kababayan, ang wait time po natin, huwag po kayong ma-heart attack, it's 362 calendar days.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's basically almost a year na paghihintay bago ka makapag-set ng appointment. I know that other areas like Dubai, right, or the Middle East, parang 3 to 6 months lang, but in Manila, it's almost a year. Right? So 362 days, and for student visa, yung pinag-usapan natin during our last episode, you're allowed to enter 30 days bago po mag-start ang inyong classes. So we have only like 19 calendar days, which is good. And all other non-immigrant visas, ano ba yung other non-immigrant visas? Yung mga H-1Bs, L-1s, right? Yung mga intra-corporate transfer, yung mga professional workers, H-2Bs, 29-30 calendar days. So basically, ang affected dito, Kuya Johan, is yung mga tourist visa. But take note mga kababayan, yung mga dating mayroon ng tourist visa at gustong mag-extend lang, hindi po kayo mag-iintay ng 365 days. As we mentioned in our prior discussion, pwede po ang dropbacks, no? Lalong-lalo na if you are applying the same area, right, at the same category ng visa nyo. So kung tourist visa lang na gusto nyo extend, hindi pa expired yung inyong tourist visa at it's just about to expire, then you can fill out the forms and drop it off dun sa designated drop boxes ng US Embassy. So pag nagre-renew kayo, hindi po kayo maghintay ng 365 days. Itong 362 days lang will apply sa mga new applicants.
Mm-hmm. Kaya mga kaibigan, balikan yung episode na yon kung saan pag-usapan namin ni attorney yung topic na yan, where if I'm not mistaken, ito yung pinag-usapan natin na pwedeng ma-waive yung interview, ano po, attorney, in terms of if you're renewing your tourist visa, ano po.
That's correct, Kuya, or other non-immigrant visa as well.
That's right. Okay. All right, attorney, ang tanong naman nila, katulad nung tinanong nila kanina sa immigrant visa, paano po ba ang application process nito? Pagka kunwari gusto mong kumuha ng tourist visa, ganun din po ba ang proseso para makakuha ng expedited interview appointment?
Ganun din ang process, Kuya Johan. So gusto mo nilang kunin muna ang inyong pera, bayad, yung fill out ko ng form, DS-160, and magbabayad ka ng filing fee, and then kung allowed ka mag-expedite, then you can request an expedited request as well. The same thing, you have to have a very good reason, right, to come to the United States on a tourist B1, B2 visa. Halimbawa, parang sa immigrant visa din na kailangan meron kang emergency, right? Let's say, yung magulang po ninyo, yung kapatid, probably grandparents, right, have serious medical condition na kailangan kayong pumunta dito, right, at alagaan, yung mga yon, o may namatay po ang parents or probably sibling or children. So those would be a good reason for expediting a case. Or let's say student visa, as we mentioned kanina, even if there's 19 days, pwedeng earlier than that kung mag-start na ang klase. So you have to have a good reason to expedite non-immigrant visa interviews. Now, kung sasabihin mo na attend po ako na, o summa cum laude yung anak ko sa UNLV, right? Kailangan ko nandun. Or kakasal yung aking paboritong pamangkin, di ba? So those are not good reasons. They won't accept as a good basis for expediting that request. Or sabi mo na, graduate yung anak ko at kailangan kong ipasyal sa Disneyland dahil, summer ngayon, di ba? Kailangan ko silang dalhin doon dahil walang ginagawa, hindi good reason yon. As we mentioned, Kuya Yon, kung meron kayo dati, it's okay to come here, it's okay to renew at the Dropbox na we-waive ang interviews. Pero kung initial or first timer po kayo, hindi po pwede. You have to have a good reason, as we mentioned, to request for an expedited interview.
Ang isa sa mga exceptions dito, attorney, is yung, say for example, as we very well know, there could be two outcomes when you apply for a visa, tourist visa especially, denied or approved, or pwedeng kailangan ng further review. Kung may further review, attorney, affected ba sila nitong backlog na ito at medyo okay, na-interview ka na nga, pero kailangan further review ka. Maghihintay ka ba ng another 362 days?
Hindi na, Kuya Johan. The same thing with the immigrant visa. Sometimes clients are overconfident, right? Na yung mga immigrant, balikan natin, after the interview, everything went well, di ba? Akala nila darating na yung kanilang visa and they already booked their flights and have a farewell party. But we mentioned from time to time, we always remind our client na wag muna kayong mag-book ng inyong ticket until you get your actual green card or actual tourist visa. So kung may administrative processing, Kuya Johan, they don't usually say kung kailan nila issue a visa. I've seen clients na umabot po na more than a year, more than 365 days, just because those have prior immigration history. Halimbawa, nasa Amerika sila for 10 years, nag-overstay sila, meron silang criminal records, meron silang fraud or anything like that na hindi ma-determine ng consular officer kung eligible ka bang, bigyan kita ng visa kahit may-ari ka ng, big restaurant, right? Or big shell company, may-ari ka ng corporation sa Pilipinas, may pera ka pero merong immigration history ka. And those are the reasons for the administrative processing. So it's not guaranteed that they will issue, give you a time frame. Ang asawa mo na lang is, kulitin sila at you're telling them that you're entitled to know the result of your application kasi nga nagbayad ka naman ng fees. Now, the other question pala, Kuya Johan, na kailangan i-denote sa mga kababayan natin, yung may mga visa application, immigrant visa applications na documentarily qualified na naghihintay na lang sila ng interview. As we mentioned, it ranges from a year to probably 3 years bago sila matawag ng interview, or probably mas matagal pa, depende sa backlog. Pero ang hope natin is, embassies worldwide under the Department of State nag-hire sila ng additional employees. So that means that hopefully, right, more employees, more resources, at mapapa-expedite lahat ng mga interviews, balik tayo sa normal. Yun ang goal po natin. But going back to those applicants who have a pending interviews and also have a tourist visa, usually ang tinatanong sa atin, attorney, can I just go to the US using my tourist visa and applying for green card there, right? Very tricky po yung scenario na yan because you cannot use a non-immigrant visa, right, to come here and live here permanently. So, there's a fine line of yung ethical consideration yan, right? Dahil the intent na ma-manifest po yan kung dumating ka dito, meron kang interview sa Pilipinas o naghintay ka na lang ng interview and then nag-adjust ka kaagad. So it's really a good idea, mga kababayan, to consult with an immigration attorney whether you're eligible to adjust status in the US, di ba? Kung kayo po ay may current ang visa ninyo, nagitala ng interview at the same time may tourist visa.
All right. So tandaan yan mga kababayan, mga pointers ni Attorney Diza. Attorney, maraming salamat po at napakarami natin na pag-usapan niyan. I'm sure with these nuggets of information, marami sa mga kababayan natin ang makakapagplano sa kanilang mga biyahe, especially those who are coming to the United States to visit their relatives. Ano? At medyo matagal na rin silang hindi nagkikita-kita dahil sa pandemya. Attorney, I'll give you this time to wrap things up with our discussion today. Kung meron pa po kayong gustong idagdag regarding our topic, ang backlogs.
Well, I just want to thank PHLV Radio and lahat po ng mga listeners and viewers natin for continuously listening and watching our program at lahat po ng PHLV Radio program. I-share po natin ito mga kababayan. This is a public service ng PHLV Radio and Reeves Immigration Law Group. I would like to further announce then, Kuya Johan, that we now charge $100 for consultation fee. I know that our website, and we've been announcing that it's free consultation, but it's time for us to charge minimal amount of $100 for legal consultation. But of course, I mean, depende sa attorney din yan, pwedeng i-waive po ang consultation fee, lalong-lalo po, di-refer po kayo ng PHLV Radio, we can always waive that. But remember, if you pay the $100 and you have a case with us, we will always deduct that as part of the contract. So, it's, we will deduct $100 that you already paid if you have a case with us. And again, at the same time, lahat po ng mga lawyers po natin ng Reeves Immigration Law Group, we practice U.S. immigration law only, and we practice all throughout the 50 states of the United States, and also all throughout the embassies worldwide. So yun po ang Reeves Immigration Law Group. Check our social media at Reeves Immigration Law Group sa Facebook po namin, sa Instagram, sa Twitter, and also sa aming website at rreeves.com. Maraming salamat, Kuya Johan, at mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Ayun, maraming salamat, Attorney Diza. Hinihintay ko sabihin nyo na meron na kayong TikTok.
Right.
Anyway, Attorney, maraming salamat. And again, congratulations po sa opening ng bagong office ng Reeves Immigration Law Group. We're gonna show that to you at the end of the program and put that in our comment section para makita nyo ang detalye ng bagong opisina ng Reeves Immigration Law Group. Again, coming from Las Vegas, ito po si Kuya Yo, si Attorney Flomy Javier Diza po ay nakasama natin galing po sa San Francisco, California sa Reeves Immigration Law Group. Hanggang sa susunod po, ito po ang Immigration Law on Your Side sa PHLV Radio. Maraming salamat po, and we will see you next time.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has just brought you Immigration Law on Your Side, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Pacific on PHLV Radio.